They will tell you about their cars. They will show you their homes. They will parade their vacations, their yachts, their lives on a pedestal, but they will never tell you the one secret that made it all possible. Not because it is too complicated, not because it is hidden in a book no one has read, not because it belongs to them and not to you. No, they will never tell you because most people would not believe it even if it were shouted from the rooftops. The secret is not a strategy. It is not an investment. It is not a shortcut or a lottery ticket. It is a way of thinking, a way of seeing the world, a way of commanding your own mind until reality bends to your will. Andrew Carnegie knew it. He whispered it to a young journalist named Napoleon Hill and told him to spend 20 years searching the world, interviewing the most powerful men alive, until he could prove it true. Edison knew it, long before the world lit up with his invention. Henry Ford knew it, when the world laughed at the thought of automobiles for ordinary men. And Rockefeller knew it, when his rivals thought oil was only black sludge in the ground. The rich may talk about luck, about talent, about connections. But behind closed doors, in the silence of their private chambers, they all practice the same hidden discipline. They decide. They decide what they want, and they hold that decision with such intensity, such unshakable conviction, that the world itself rearranges to match their vision. This is the secret the rich will never tell you. Wealth is not first created in banks or in markets. It is created in the mind. The fortune exists in imagination long before it is written in numbers. Look closely and you will see it everywhere. Edison dreamed of light while stumbling through darkness. Disney imagined castles while he was broke, living off beans from a tin can. Jobs saw beauty in circuits when others saw only wires. They had nothing, yet within them was the seed of everything. And you, yes, you, are walking around with the same power. But you've been trained to ignore it. You've been taught to doubt it. You've been told life is random, success is luck, riches are inherited or stolen, and that your only role is to work, to wait, and to wish. This lie has enslaved billions. The truth is sharper. The truth is uncompromising. The truth is that your thoughts are builders. They build walls to trap you, or bridges to free you. And the rich know how to use this hammer. If your life feels like a prison, it is not because the gates are locked. It is because you have forgotten the key that is already in your hand, the power to direct thought. Every empire, every invention, every fortune began with a single thought held so long, so powerfully, that it demanded to be made flesh. But here is the test. Most people will not hold a thought long enough. Most people let it die the moment struggle appears. Most people allow doubt to suffocate it, fear to bury it, distraction to scatter it. That is why the rich remain few and the poor remain many. The world does not reward half-belief. It does not respond to weak desires. It does not honor passing wishes. It bends only for those who are ruthless in vision, unrelenting in purpose, and ferocious in faith. Think of the mountain. It does not move for the breeze. It does not shift for the storm. But given time, given persistence, rivers carve through it, roads bend around it, cities rise upon it. So too is the mind of the man or woman who decides with absolute clarity. This is the reason the rich look calm while others panic. When the market falls, they see opportunity. When the crowd runs, they walk forward. When the world doubts, they remain certain. They are not responding to conditions. They are commanding them. And if you believe this is arrogance, if you believe this is impossible, then you have already surrendered your throne to the men and women who dared to believe it first. For belief is the currency before currency. Belief is the soil in which fortune grows. Belief is the one thing the rich protect more than their gold, more than their patents, more than their land, because belief is the true foundation of it all. So ask yourself, what do you believe? Not what you wish, not what you say, but what belief do you hold with such conviction that you would sacrifice sleep, endure ridicule, and stand alone until the world itself bowed? Because until you discover that belief, until you decide what must exist because you have willed it into being, you will remain at the mercy of those who have already decided. Do not mistake this for positive thinking. Do not mistake this for empty affirmations whispered into the mirror while your soul is still weak. The secret is not in words alone. It is in the power that surges behind them. When a poor boy in Kentucky named Abraham Lincoln decided he would rise, he did not chant it, he lived it. He carried books miles just to feed his mind. He endured defeats, bankruptcies, heartbreaks, and losses that would have shattered the ordinary man. But he never surrendered the idea that he was destined for something greater. That idea became steel inside him, and steel bends for no storm. This is the pattern. Over and over again, history reveals it. Those who command riches, whether riches of money, influence, or legacy, are those who first command themselves. Self-mastery is the furnace in which fortune is forged. Discipline is the flame, and clarity of purpose is the mold. The secret the rich will never tell you is this: they have learned to discipline their inner world until it becomes more real than the outer world. They see their vision when no one else can see it. They hold on to it when everyone else mocks them. They nurture it when the soil looks barren. And by the time the crowd recognizes its value, it has already bloomed into reality. Think of Henry Ford. He was told it was impossible. Engineers mocked him, experts doubted him, even his own team nearly abandoned him. But Ford refused to release the idea of the V8 engine. Year after year, failure after failure, he demanded it be built. And when it finally roared to life, it revolutionized the world. That engine was not created in a factory. It was created in Ford's mind years before steel and oil ever touched it. Now look at your own life. What vision have you abandoned because others could not see it? What dream did you bury because reality seemed too heavy? What desire did you surrender because failure whispered in your ear? Understand this: the rich are not superhuman. They are ordinary flesh and blood, but they refuse to bow to ordinary thinking. Where you see limitation, they see material to shape. Where you see defeat, they see raw instruction. Where you see time slipping away, they see years as servants of their vision. The truth is, most people are slaves not to the rich, but to their own disbelief. They chain themselves with phrases like, "I can't," "I don't know how," or "it's too late." And those chains are not iron, they are ideas. Break them, and you will walk free. But freedom comes with responsibility. The moment you accept that your mind is the architect, you can no longer blame your circumstances. You can no longer hide behind excuses. You can no longer pretend the system or your boss or the government has stolen your destiny, because now the weight is on you, your decisions, your discipline, your vision. And that is why the rich will never tell you this secret, because most will reject it. Most would rather cling to excuses than accept power. Power demands work. Power demands sacrifice. Power demands you rise above your own comfort, your own doubt, your own weakness. But if you accept it, if you dare to wield it, your life will no longer be measured by survival. It will be measured by creation. You will cease to live as a leaf tossed by the wind. You will live as the wind itself. Consider Thomas Edison again. Thousands of failures before the light bulb. Do you imagine those failures did not break his spirit? Of course they did. But here lies the deeper truth. Edison did not define failure as most men do. To him, every failed experiment was proof that he was one step closer to success. That shift of perspective, born of discipline, faith, and relentless vision, is the invisible inheritance of the wealthy, and you too can claim it. But first, you must be willing to suffer for it. You must be willing to endure ridicule, to be called foolish, to walk in darkness while others laugh in the light. You must be willing to fail in public, to stand alone in silence, to hold a belief so firmly that even when the earth shakes beneath your feet, your mind remains immovable. This is the cost of the secret. The rich know it, the powerful know it, and those who hunger for greatness must pay it. So I ask again, what will you decide? Because the moment of decision is the birth of wealth. Not when the money arrives, not when the world applauds, not when the dream is complete. It begins when you say to yourself, with a clarity so fierce that heaven and earth take notice, "This is mine. This will be. Nothing will stop me." And if you can hold that flame long enough, nurture it with discipline, feed it with faith, protect it with resilience, then the fortune that once seemed impossible will begin to take shape before your eyes. The tragedy of most lives is not that they aim too high and miss, but that they aim too low and hit. People settle. They lower their eyes from the stars to the ground, convincing themselves that scraps are enough when they were designed to build empires. But here is the law: the wealthy have mastered whatever you demand of life with persistence, life eventually delivers. Not because the universe is charitable, not because luck suddenly blesses you, but because your demand, repeated day after day in thought, word, and action, carves a channel so deep that reality itself has no choice but to flow into it. This is why mediocrity is crowded. Everyone is wishing at the surface level. Everyone is tossing casual desires into the air like confetti. I want more money. I want a better life. I want success. But few are willing to make those desires a command backed by relentless faith, sharpened focus, and daily sacrifice. You see, success does not come to those who merely want. It comes to those who decide. And decision is different from desire. Desire whispers, decision roars. Desire fades in discomfort. Decision stands firm in the fire. Desire hopes, decision knows. Look at Rockefeller, who began with nothing in Cleveland, the son of a conman father. He did not wish for wealth, he decided to master oil. While others saw mess and risk, he saw order and empire. That decision carried him through decades of building, negotiating, and expanding until his vision became reality. His fortune was not born in barrels of oil. It was born in the conviction that he would not rest until he shaped the industry itself. Do you see the pattern? Vision without decision is fantasy. Decision without persistence is failure. But decision fused with persistence, hammered by discipline, becomes unstoppable. Every great man and woman has lived this truth. Helen Keller, blind and deaf, decided she would not remain trapped by her limitations. With persistence, she conquered silence and blindness to become a voice heard across nations. Walt Disney, bankrupt and betrayed, decided his imagination was more powerful than failure. Out of his decision came kingdoms of joy that continue to outlive him. Nelson Mandela, imprisoned for decades, decided freedom was worth every chain. That decision transformed not just his life, but a nation. Now look at your own reflection. How many times have you betrayed your own decision? How many times have you started with fire and ended in ashes because doubt stole your courage? How many dreams lie buried under the soil of excuses you planted yourself? The secret the rich will never tell you is that the world respects only persistence. It bends not to the loudest complainer, but to the quiet, relentless builder, the one who keeps showing up when the crowd disperses, the one who sharpens his tools in darkness while others chase distraction in light. And persistence is not glamorous. It is not shared on social media. It does not come with applause in the beginning. It looks like boredom. It looks like repetition. It looks like failure stacked upon failure. But beneath that monotony, a diamond is forming. Carnegie said it best when he explained that riches come to those who know what they want and are determined to stand by that desire until they realize it. Most men stop 3 feet from gold. They dig for a while, grow tired, surrender, and walk away, never realizing that persistence one day longer would have changed everything. So let me ask you, where have you stopped digging? Where did you turn back too soon? What treasure still waits for you, buried just beneath the soil of your last attempt? The secret the rich hold close is that they never stop digging. They will collapse before they quit. And life, in its brutal but fair way, eventually rewards those who endure. But endurance without faith is suffering, and faith without action is delusion. You must weld both together. Faith is not blind hope. Faith is sight through the invisible. It is the ability to see the finished picture before the canvas is touched. It is to walk into tomorrow carrying the certainty that your vision is already alive, waiting only for you to claim it. This kind of faith terrifies the mediocre. They call it arrogance. They call it foolishness. They call it delusion. But history shows us again and again, it is the birthplace of every miracle of achievement. When Edison announced he would bring light to the world, critics mocked him. Faith made him immune. When Ford declared he would build a car for every family, experts scoffed. Faith made him unstoppable. When Jobs demanded computers be beautiful, simple, and everywhere his team thought him mad, faith made him unforgettable. And so I ask you, what vision are you willing to be mocked for? What dream burns so deeply in you that you are ready to be called insane for chasing it? What decision can you make today that will demand persistence, demand faith, demand every ounce of you? Yet one day will force the world to bow before its reality. Because that is the secret the rich will never tell you. The price of greatness is ridicule, loneliness, sacrifice, and the patience to wait for years while others doubt. But if you can endure the fire, you emerge not as ashes, but as gold. Here is what you must understand. Riches are not guarded by vaults of steel. They are guarded by walls of belief. The majority stand outside those walls, not because they are locked out, but because they have convinced themselves the walls cannot be climbed. The wealthy, the powerful, the extraordinary, they are not different in flesh. They breathe the same air. They bleed the same blood. Their difference is mental. They have trained themselves to think thoughts that others dismiss. They have trained themselves to keep moving when others stop. Think of the Wright brothers, two bicycle mechanics in Ohio with no wealth, no status, no university degrees. The world told them man would never fly. Experts ridiculed them. Scientists dismissed them. Newspapers mocked them. Yet they believed. They persisted. They decided. And on a quiet December day in Kitty Hawk, their fragile machine lifted from the earth, and human history was rewritten. That is the power of the secret, not privilege, not inheritance, not luck. The true inheritance of wealth is the mastery of the unseen, to hold a vision so firmly that reality reshapes itself to obey it. But here is the tragedy. Most people live as spectators of other men's decisions. They consume the dreams of others while abandoning their own. They wear the brands someone else created. They scroll through devices someone else invented. They work in buildings someone else imagined. Their lives are proof of the decisions of the bold. But their own decisions lie unmade. The secret the rich will never tell you is that wealth is not stolen, it is claimed. And the first claim is not made on paper or in courts. It is made in the arena of the mind. Whoever owns the thought owns the future. You must become the owner. Own your desire. Own your vision. Own your decisions until they own you in return. Do not wait for permission. Do not beg for opportunity. Do not pray for luck without moving your feet. Life does not reward hesitation. Life rewards the bold, the decisive, the relentless. But here is the warning. Once you claim this secret, life will test you. It will not hand you the treasure without demanding proof of your strength. You will face delay. You will face betrayal. You will face ridicule and failure and the crushing weight of uncertainty. This is not cruelty. This is refinement. The furnace is not built to destroy the gold, but to purify it. When Lincoln was defeated again and again in elections, life tested him. When Edison's lab burned to the ground, life tested him. When Disney was told he lacked imagination, life tested him. And each time, they proved themselves by rising higher than the test. You will not be spared. If you wish for greatness, you will be tried by fire. But the test is not to see if you can fail. The test is to see if you can endure long enough to earn the prize that billions will never touch. This is why mediocrity is so crowded, most men crumble under testing. They quit when the storm hits. They abandon their decision the moment the cost becomes heavy. And so life, being fair, gives them what they settled for: survival, comfort, average. But for the few who remain, those who stand unbroken in the fire, the reward is not only wealth, but transformation. They do not just earn money. They become creators, builders, forces of nature. And when that transformation happens, money ceases to be the goal. It becomes a tool, a servant of vision. The rich never tell you this because it would expose them. They are not clinging to money. They are clinging to vision. The money is secondary. The money is inevitable. The true treasure is the man or woman they became in pursuit of it. You can become that. But you must stop living like a beggar in a palace. You must stop doubting the very mind that was designed to shape worlds. You must stop handing your birthright to fear. Do not ask, can I? Ask, will I? Do not ask, what if it fails? Ask, what if I endure? Because endurance is the final filter. It is the sieve through which all greatness passes. The world has never been moved by the talented quitter, the gifted coward, or the intelligent doubter. It has only been moved by the one who stayed when all others left. And now you must decide, will you stay? Will you persist? Will you demand of life until life itself bends? Because this is the secret the rich will never tell you. The gate was never locked. If you look closely, you will see the truth everywhere. The skyscraper piercing the sky was once a thought on a scrap of paper. The billion-dollar company was once an idea scribbled in a notebook. The revolution that changed a nation was once a whisper in the heart of one man or woman. The rich guard their secret not because they are selfish, but because most would laugh if they told it plainly. Imagine them saying, "Everything you see here began with a thought I refused to let go of." People would scoff. They would prefer to believe in chance, in unfair advantage, in corruption. Anything but the uncomfortable truth that their own mind holds the same power, if only they would dare to use it. But you are not most people. You would not still be here if you were satisfied with the explanations given to the crowd. You would not hunger for more if your soul did not already know there is more. Something inside you is restless. dissatisfied, whispering that you were born to build, to create, to conquer. And here is where the secret deepens: thought alone is not enough. Belief without action is a dream unplanted. Vision without discipline is a castle in the clouds. The wealthy know this. They do not stop at imagining. They command themselves into action. They rise before the world awakes. They burn through rejection after rejection. They endure boredom, fatigue, and years of invisible labor because they know the harvest is certain. This is why Andrew Carnegie, once a poor immigrant boy, became the steel king of America. He disciplined his life, he organized his thoughts, he surrounded himself with men of ability, and he acted with precision every single day. His fortune was not luck. It was structure, vision, and relentless execution. Ask yourself, have you matched your belief with daily discipline? Do your actions prove the depth of your desire? Or do your habits betray you, scrolling, drifting, wasting the hours that could be spent shaping your empire? The world is a mirror. It reflects not what you say you want, but what you consistently do. If you rise in mediocrity, the world will reflect mediocrity back to you. If you rise in discipline, the world will bend to deliver discipline's reward. The rich will never confess this openly because it strips away the illusions. It removes the excuses that most cling to for comfort. If you truly knew, that the only barrier between you and the life you desire is your own decision, your own discipline, your own persistence, what excuse would you have left? None. And that is terrifying, but it is also liberating. Because once you accept this truth, you realize no man, no government, no economy, no setback can chain you. They can delay you, they can test you, they can even strip you of everything physical. But they cannot stop a mind that has decided. History proves this with brutal clarity. Ford failed multiple businesses before the Model T. Jobs was fired from the very company he founded. Oprah was told she was unfit for television. Lincoln lost more elections than most men could endure. Yet each rose higher than the world's judgment. Not because the path was smooth, but because their decision outlived every defeat. And so it must be with you. Do not expect applause in the beginning. Do not expect understanding from family, from friends, from the world around you. They will not see what you see. They cannot, because the vision was given to you, not to them. The seed was planted in your soil. It is your responsibility to water it, to protect it, to nurture it until it grows into something undeniable. And when it does, when the results appear, the same people who doubted will call you lucky. They will say you had advantages. They will rewrite your story in their minds because they cannot bear the truth you simply decided and refused to quit. That is the secret. That is always the secret. And if you embrace it, your life will no longer be one of quiet desperation. You will rise from the ranks of the waiting and join the ranks of the creating. You will cease to beg for opportunity and begin to build it. You will no longer ask what the world can give you. You will decide what you demand of it, and in time, the world will deliver. But beware, this secret is not for the faint of heart. It requires sacrifice. It requires the death of your old self, the lazy self, the doubtful self, the weak self. That self must be buried so the creator, the builder, the conqueror within can rise. The question is not whether you can. The question is whether you will, because the gate has never been locked, and now you hold the key. Then listen closely, because this is where the truth cuts deepest. Every life is a negotiation between two forces, the pull of mediocrity and the call of greatness. Mediocrity is easy. It is warm. It is safe. It is the crowd saying, stay with us. Don't rise too high. Don't stand too tall. Don't make us uncomfortable by proving what's possible. Greatness is lonely. It is cold. It is dangerous. It demands you leave the crowd, climb alone, and risk everything for the chance to see a view only a few eyes will ever witness. The wealthy, the powerful, the builders of empires, they chose greatness. Not because it was easy, but because their souls could not bear the weight of mediocrity. You may feel that weight now, the weight of days blending into one another. The weight of years spent working for someone else's dream. The weight of knowing deep down that you were meant for more, but watching time slip like sand through your fingers. That weight is your signal. That weight is the voice of your future self calling, demanding you rise. And here is the ultimate secret. The rich are not protecting wealth from you. They are protecting belief. Because belief, once awakened, cannot be controlled. It spreads like fire, it inspires. It disrupts, it topples systems and rewrites the rules. If the masses ever believed as fiercely as the few, the world would transform overnight. That is why most are lulled to sleep with distractions, fed constant noise, taught to doubt, taught to consume instead of create. Because an awakened mind is dangerous. An awakened mind does not settle. An awakened mind builds its own throne. And so you must awaken. Awakening begins not with money in your pocket, but with a decision in your soul. A decision that from this day forward, you will not live as a spectator. You will not live on borrowed dreams. You will not live waiting for permission. You will rise even if you must rise alone. Remember this, the rich are not loved in the beginning. They are hated. They are envied. They are doubted. They are mocked. And only when the fruits of their decision become undeniable does the world applaud. Do not crave applause too soon. Let silence be your companion. Let ridicule be your teacher. Let doubt be the background music to your rise. Because if you endure long enough, if you persist fiercely enough, the same world that ignored you will one day be forced to recognize you. They will look at what you have built, and they will call it impossible, forgetting that you already decided it was inevitable. Lincoln endured defeat after defeat until the presidency crowned him. Edison endured thousands of failures until light obeyed him. Carnegie endured poverty until steel bent to his will. Disney endured betrayal until imagination turned into empire. And you, yes, you must endure the fire until the vision in your mind becomes reality in your hands. This is the final gate, the last truth. The rich will never tell you that their true fortune is not their money, but their transformation. They are not who they were when they began. They are harder, sharper, wiser, bolder. They have been refined by fire. That is the wealth no tax can touch, no crisis can steal, no recession can erase. That same transformation waits for you. If you choose it, if you decide, if you endure. So let the world laugh, let them doubt. Let them whisper that you are foolish, arrogant knee. One day those whispers will be drowned out by the roar of your achievement. Stand now at the threshold. Decide. Hold your vision. Persist through every trial. And remember always the gate was never locked. The walls were never real. The secret was never hidden. It was always in you. And the moment you believe it, fiercely, unshakably, relentlessly, the moment you demand life bend to your vision and back it with discipline and action, is the moment you stop being a spectator and begin to live as a creator. That is the secret the rich will never tell you. Not because you cannot know it, but because most will never dare to live it. The question is, will you?